Hello and welcome to Mostly Minnesota Music. I'm Ann Tracy. I'm here with my co-host,
Claire Baker.
Yes, and we are excited because we have Catbath tonight. Yay! Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
thanks
great.
for having us.
I'm very excited. You guys, I've seen you play with some of my favorite bands, so I'm so excited to talk to you. But I thought maybe I'd start and kind of ask you each to introduce yourself, and just for sake of bypassing Minnesota politeness of who's going to speak first, I'll ask you in order of who showed up. So I think Crystal, you're first up. Just tell us a little bit about you.
And boss manager, lady personality. That's me. Band manager Crystal. I'm the drummer and I sing as well. Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
No, we're excited. Yeah. And are you originally from Minnesota, from the Twin Cities?
I'm originally from North Dakota. So there's some things to unpack there, but yeah. So
well, now we're very international now.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I've lived in 2 states.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right. Gravy, I think you're the next on.
Hey. Hold on a second here. Okay. Just wanted to put the cat filter on for a second.
Awesome.
Seriously.
Okay, wait. Oh, now I can't turn it off. Oh my god. Well, I'm Gravy, and I can put it to done. I play guitar. I'm the one of us that doesn't sing, except for I did do a little bit of singing on the
yeah. You're in training.
But the least I don't sing, but I play guitar. I'm one of the guitar people in this band.
Okay. Now, are you working up to singing, or was that just a chance, just trying it out?
No, you don't want me to work up to that. Shouting maybe, or pretty good snapper. I found out.
You're a great clapper.
Oh yeah, clapping.
Yes. Yeah, it sounds like you could sound "Happy Birthday" at my house. We are a lot of snappers, so that's.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, not singers. All right, next up, I think Danielle, that's you.
That's me. I'm Danielle. I play bass and I sing. I'm from New York and I'm a Leo.
Nice. From New York, how do you find yourself here?
Family relocated and then I just stayed. Well, we all stayed, but yeah.
Okay. And how old are you when you moved?
I was 14.
That
great
had to be
age to move halfway across the fucking country. Let me tell you.
Mostly I'm from Minnesota, but truthfully, I lived in Chicago when I was little, and we moved when I was younger, and I can just remember saying, "Wait, we're moving to St. Paul."
This was my finest moment as a kid. My family, before we moved here, my dad was like, "We're gonna take a trip to Minnesota," and I'm like, "Where is Minnesota?" I had no idea that it existed. And then when we visited here, he didn't tell us that he was like thinking about getting a job. And then he asked us on the plane ride back, like, "Oh, what'd you think of Minnesota?" I said, "I never want to go there ever again."
Oh, Jesus.
And now here I am.
On Mostly Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Earning everyone's way into your heart. You are.
Just nobody call me a Minnesotan or I'll get really angry.
That's okay. Now you're here to help put Minnesota on the map. So that's good.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Travis.
Hi, I'm Travis. I play guitar and I sing. That's about it.
I was like, come on, you got to give us more than that.
It's like 4:30 this morning, so I'm a little groggy. But yeah, I guess I write a most of the material. Maybe, I don't know. It's mostly a group effort. I just write the lyrics.
Okay.
So.
Kind of basic question. Why in the world were you up at 4:30?
Oh, for work. Like I just took this new job actually like a month ago. So I'm like still trying to get like the training and stuff. So I'm kind of burning the candle at both ends a little bit, working a lot.
Well, I hope that's
like suck the air out of the room. Sorry, guys.
No, we're just all thankful we weren't up then. Not up to. Well,
yeah. I mean, normally like you're up that late, you know what I mean? Not up that early.
Yeah.
It's weird. The cats think I'm
Disagree.
weird.
Well,
Are you
I was
a
actually
riser?
up at 4:30
What's
in the
that?
morning because the power went out. So
Oh, fun.
Ooh.
yeah, but then because I'm older now, I'm like, I better report this issue to Excel immediately.
Oh my
So I
god.
stayed up and like reported it, you know. Maybe I went back
Nice.
to bed for like an hour, but yeah, I've been up since like 4:32. So
That's I think that's funny that you reported it. You just call and report it, or
yep, it's actually an automated menu that you can just push. I think it's option 2. And then they like know based on your phone number. They're like, is this an address beginning with 301? Yes. Is your last name beginning with STO? Yes.
yes.
Then they're like, we are aware of this power outage. And then they give you an estimated time for when it's going to be restored. So then I, of course, lay there awake, waiting. My fan isn't on. I can hear all the weird, creepy noises in my apartment. I can't
Oh,
sleep.
no.
Be quiet.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
suppose. So okay. Well, that's good to know. All right. Well, now I know a little bit about all of you. I've been listening to Table Scraps, and you just released that in December. Now, usually I try to look up the date and everything. I'm going to say December 4th, but I'm making that up. Was it
I
even
think
earlier?
That's right. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's
No.
exactly it.
You know more than I do.
That's good.
It's all hazy.
Yeah.
Nah, that sounds about right. It sounds about right.
Well,
Released
tell me,
on Bandcamp Day.
I like it. When my first introduction was really the video, the Woozy video, which I can only watch it so many times in a row, but I love that.
That's all
Awesome.
gravy.
That's
Yeah.
gravy, baby.
It was like I first found this footage of this guy getting sick, and I put it in slow motion and just layered. I was like, this feels like it's got to be a music video for something. I'm like, Woozy, we got to use it for the feeling of, you know, being sick and
Being Woozy.
yeah. And I put it together in like an hour. Like it was just like a really quick thing, and these guys didn't even know I was. And I surprised them and sent it to them, and they were like, "Okay, yeah, we should put that out." So.
And then like, yeah,
It's great.
people that
It's
saw
great.
the video, they're like, who is that guy?
And I like
I
I
was-
you like
I don't
they thought
know.
it was like we like actually got some old guy sick and like
Right.
spun him around a bunch on a video. I'm like, oh,
It's all random, like royalty-free stock footage I found on the internet.
We should just
Just
tell
made a
people
big
that we made
collage.
an old man throw up.
Yeah,
all
right.
we did.
Mhm. Like,
is that old guy okay?
yeah,
I
right.
think
No! He died shortly after this video.
Happily dead after.
Yeah. Yeah, he's happy at the end of the video. I remember.
Yeah, that's true.
Getting all the
That's
likes.
That's I love it because I have to say, as I was watching, I'm like, where on earth did they find this guy to do this? Is this someone's dad? Is this, you know, is that a janitor from your high school? How did you get this person? That's the favorite thing I've heard today. It makes me want to make music videos. I just think that that's absolutely perfect. It's just, there must be a word for, you know, onomatopoeia, and the words sound like what they are. That video is what it, you know, it looks like what the song should look like, you know, just,
It's woozy.
it's woozy. It is. You do feel a little, you know, you get a little woozy watching it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of randomly put together, but it sort of makes sense. Like the stuff
it was
that
great.
appears, it's like, oh, it actually like sort of gives you a feeling exactly of like feeling woozy. Yeah.
Someday I'm gonna Google VR it and see what happens. I'll keep a bucket close.
That's, yeah, exactly. No, that was a great. But tell me about the album. I mean, when did you start it? Is this a
Oh.
Are you talking about Table Scraps?
Yeah.
Table Scrap? Yeah, sorry, the latest release. I should say
Yeah,
not
yeah.
album, latest release.
Yep.
The Table Scraps is kind of a weird. It was sort of like I guess like a placeholder, because we knew obviously with COVID and stuff, it's really hard to like go and like, but you can't play shows or tour or promote anything, and it's just kind of like I don't know. the tip of the hat or something to the fans and for people that are out there that actually wanted to hear like, or sort of a reminder that we're still here, I guess. But basically Table Scraps is just what, I mean, it's exactly what it is. It's all like, just like B-sides and stuff that was unreleased from our other 2 albums. And 2 songs that we were going to do a 7-inch for, but then ended up with like COVID and everything. The whole thing kind of got put on hiatus. Well, we have this stuff. We should just say, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think that was Tungsten and Woozy that we recorded with Zach, who is doing the forthcoming record too. I know 3 or 4 of those are like Glitterbox B-sides, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And then 2 of those were recorded for various singles that we did through Guilt Ridden Pop and Keith from Guilt Ridden Pop. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was like sort of like a song case of like 4 or 5 artists from the area. And I think we released 2 of them. One of those songs was from that. And then the other one, I think ended up one of the songs from Glitterbox ended up being used for that. But yeah, I don't know. That's all the specifics, I guess. I don't remember the time that we recorded them, because I think the first ones were probably recorded back in like 2015 or 16, something like that. And then all the way up to 2019. So
okay.
It's like our like incesticide side.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like our incesticide. It's like, that's why we called it Table Scraps, because it really is just like this like amalgamation of just like the random stuff that we did over the last like several years that we've been a band that just never got released or never saw the light of day. And you know, we've really like hunkered down for, you know, the better part of a year writing a new album and a lot of new material. And you know, we've got our new like Baby D bass player band member now, and it's like we're like all fresh, you know, we're like on a fresh start. So I think, you know, Gravy, I think, had the idea of like, you know, why don't we just take all that stuff and instead of just, you know, keeping it like in the closet, it's like, why don't we just like get it out there and just release everything that we did? And it's like just kind of clearing the air and getting it all out there. And also, like Travis said, it's something for people that, you know, they've seen us play at shows and, you know, they've probably heard these songs and they're like more like B-sides or like, you know,
the deep cuts.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, like if you're like a legit true fan, you could totally appreciate that. So
I was just thinking every B-side is somebody's favorite, you know.
Solvent is mine.
So basically, I found it. Yeah. I basically just found all this stuff on my computer, and I'm like, oh, these actually sound pretty good. We should do something. You know? And just trying to clear things out, like, and make room for all the.
I was saying you sent them to me. Like,
I'm sorry,
I was your songs to learn.
You like glitched out.
Me? Fuck.
I heard.
Hold on.
Yeah, we did, because we did play some of them live on occasion. And so I was like, well, we got to get Danielle everything that we've done. And then she learned it all in like 2 weeks. So.
And then they were like, actually, we're not going to play any of these.
They're like, no.
You fell for that oldest trick, Danielle?
I literally learned like 20 songs in 2 weeks. I was like, I got this. It's going to be, because this is pre-COVID too. So I'm like, I need to learn everything. Like, I need to know this for gigs. And then I learned it all. And then they were like, actually, we're going to work on a new album. And I'm like, so are we going to play any of the old ones? And they were like, no. And I was like, cool, sick, great.
Was your initiation there?
It was. It was my initiation, my hazing ritual.
Yeah.
There are worse.
There are worse hazing rituals? Yeah, thank God. You know, it could have blindfolded me and thrown me off of a building. That's so good.
We're all shaving our heads. You go first.
Damn, Danielle.
Yes.
I'm also like very delirious too. I've been working all day. I had coffee at 4 p.m. to stay awake. So this is going to be.
Oh, no. High energy.
I'm doing great.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's Table Scraps. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it was like Gravy that kind of took the helms of like, like sort of getting the ball rolling and like the artwork and all that. Like Crystal had the idea for the artwork. Gravy like prepared the video and he showed us the video and we were like, well, yeah, we've got to release something because it would make sense. Like we have the two songs, we have a video now. Like, what about this other stuff? Like, does this have a place? And then we just decided, like, you know, collectively, yeah, we should do that. And then within like probably 2 weeks or something, we had the whole thing put together and out.
Jeez.
It was pretty fast, but it was good. I mean,
yeah, and it was like a really clear, like, sort of dividing point of the old era, or not to call it the old era really, but just like, and then where we're moving now. And it was like, rather than try to make our next album be sort of a hybrid of the two with really new stuff, it's like, let's just have a clean slate. And I think we all feel good about that now, especially after the last week of recording what will be the next album. There's kind of like a pretty good division of like where we're headed.
To show everybody.
Yeah.
I like that you did it that way to, like you said, clean the slate, kind of bring in Danielle and present us with what you have now.
Yeah, it's a totally like new energy, I feel like. I think the rest of the band would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how would you describe the new endeavor? I mean,
Epic. It's an epic.
Awesome.
What's that, Danielle?
Yeah, it was me. I'm saying that we have like 15 songs on it, which I've never, ever. The longest album I made is maybe like, 10 2-minute songs. So this is like very new to me.
For me, first I was thinking about the new stuff a lot, and I feel like it's like Catbath always had some like harkening back to like 90s influence and 80s, but this album includes some like 70s vibes, like 70s rock record stuff going on. I'm really excited about, and like, I don't know.
I completely agree. Like, the one thing that I do love about being in Catbath is like, we don't like pigeonhole ourselves into like one sound. And I think that people that like our band appreciate that. For instance, like, we've got a couple just like really, really heavy songs, like screaming, and it's just like, bruh, you know? But then we've got that like 70s classic rock song, and then we've got that a lot of like really great alternative, like will remind you of like 90s, like that sweet spot of like, you know, the Pixies or the Breeders, and then, you know, some like singer-songwriter stuff. And it's just like really just a spin the wheel of like different like genres and styles. And it just really, I think it just speaks to like, people are eclectic. People like a lot of different kinds of music. They don't want to listen to this like one kind of like monotone like record, you know? And it's like, we're like recording this with the engineer, and, you know, he's just like, you know, what's the radio single here? And like, no one can figure it out because their songs are also special and unique in their own ways. And so I think this has been, you know, for like the 23 years that I've been playing music and various instruments, and I've made like a ton of albums and recordings and all this, I think this has really been just like the peak of that for me in my life is this experience making this record and just going through that, you know, with like COVID and just like everything. And there's just so many different factors that are just really melting into this like creative endeavor. And it is really like being in the trenches with like my bubble bandmates, you know, it's like we're in this like bubble, and we just have only known each other for the last year, and like we've shared this like really special time. And I don't know, it just it really feels special, and these songs are really special too. So I'm really excited to get it out there into the world.
It's also amazing like how much you can get done when you're not having practices that are just dedicated to getting ready for shows. Like I mean, like it was crazy productive the year as far as writing goes, and a lot of that is due to Travis having like an outpouring of song ideas too. I got
kind of lucky there, I think. I know this sounds weird, but before COVID hit, so I've talked to a lot of my like musician and artist friends, and I feel like there's two camps. There's either people that have been fairly productive during the COVID the whole shutdown pandemic, everybody's sort of isolated, or people have been like non-creative and just like all their like creative energy has been just sucked out, you know, from the isolation and depression and that sort of thing. And I think that probably goes back to people that are like more like me, where I'm like sort of a loner when I write, you know, like when I write a skeleton of a song, it's in my room with an acoustic guitar generally, right? Versus like a band that might end up, you know, writing together, completely together, like where it's like, oh, hey, I have this part. Okay, let's, you know, do that. When it's like you had the pandemic going on in like April and March and we weren't spending as much time like practicing and stuff, I feel like that probably was would have been really hard for people that write that way. Whereas for people, you know, that are more isolated, I'm just like, all right, what am I going to do? Okay, let's write 5 new songs this week. You know, not all of them are good, and they didn't. Most of them will never see the light of day. But the ones that did, I think, for me, and I could speak maybe for the rest of the band too, because they poured their heart and soul into the record as much as I did, is that it's a very personal record for everybody in this because of all the change that has happened from 2019 on, you know, like, and it's been such a whirlwind of everything going on that like just trying to capture that little lightning in a bottle. And I think this record, at least for me, is probably the best thing I've ever done in the 25 years I've been playing music. I don't hesitate to say it's the peak because, you know, you can always get better, right?
But start of the plateau, like, maybe.
For me, it might be the first thing I've ever made where I'm just like, all the way through, I'm like, I'm proud of this. Like, this is, nice. You know, you're done good, kid. So, and that goes for all the bandmates too. Like, it wasn't just me. Like, everybody put effort and energy into it. Everybody like had writing input, and we tweaked things, and we had all the time in the world to edit and make it exactly what we wanted to make it. To the point where like even near the end, we're like, oh, what if we did this, you know, in the studio? And we're like, well, let's try that. And sometimes it worked, and sometimes we're like, well, it was better the other way. So yeah, so I'm just excited to sort of see where it goes from there, I guess. I don't, you know, it's like, well, yeah, we got the record finished, we still have to mix it and stuff like that, and that's a time consuming process. But it's like, after that, what do you do? Like, you just kind of sit on it until I guess we can promote it or get it out, you know. It's a secret. Although I saw good news about like people, a couple of my friends like out in LA that are working in the healthcare industry have gotten their vaccines. So I think it's coming within the next 3-4 months, I think.
Oh yeah, I've been in this band for a year now, and I've yet to gig. So that's been very strange.
I know, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I even gonna be able to play shows? Like, I get nervous playing shows normally, and I haven't played a show in so long. I'm probably gonna like, I'll be the woozy guy, you know.
I think that's where we like discover like that other side. It's like marriage or something. It's like I'll discover, like, I hear Danielle talk about how she hates loading gear, but it's just like right now it's like this idea in my mind. But then it's like,
don't
worry.
I will bitch. I will bitch and I will moan.
yeah. But then it's like once we get in that, that's gonna be a new situation for us again, and then I'll be like, oh, you're this way. Okay, good to know.
I know, I'm perfect. Yeah, no, I mean, I warned you about recording. I'm like, I don't like being with people for extended periods of time, and you saw that.
I don't think so. Like, I thought, you know, no, I actually thought for as intense as that was, like, we did like 10-hour days for like 9 days or something, right? It was like, you know what? Like, most people would just blah. But like it was tiring. Like, I could tell we were all
didn't even
tired,
take breaks.
We had
really?
fun.
Which was insane.
We worked hard.
Yeah. I took 3
I just looked up and all of a sudden like,
Sunday.
oh, it's 8 o'clock at night. Like, what happened to the time?
I took 3 separate naps on Sunday. Like, I woke up, took a nap, woke up again, took another nap.
I was gonna mention that. Like, I just like eat something and then pass out for 2 hours and then wake up and be like, oh, I should probably do my laundry, and then I just pass out again. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was Sunday.
That's fine though. It's good.
Yeah, I wonder how it sounds like training for that would be like family road trips for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all that.
Yeah, it's funny. Like tour, everybody's like, "Oh, you're always having like so much fun," and I'm like, most of the time, tour is just like quiet time in the van.
Lots of gas stations and looking at highway. Yeah.
Trying to find
no matter
like,
what, your hands are always dirty. You just like, even after you wash your hands, they just still feel dirty. Like it's just dirty hands and quiet van time.
Yep. I read a lot. I nap a lot.
Yep. I compared being in a band to my friends who don't know. I'm like, it's like being handcuffed to like 3 other people in a room and you can't leave. Like,
you're really selling it.
It's either handcuffed or married. I think of them as the same thing.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like, it's been nice being in this band. It's like cool because I feel like it's very professional. And like, honestly, I loved Catbath before I even joined Catbath. So it was like, because I was /am in another band called Bruised Violet that does like 3-part harmonies. And the first time I saw Catbath, I was like, fuck! I was like, we ripped them off! Shit! Like, I was like, oh my god, they're so good and they do 3-part harmonies! Fuck me! I'm like, oh, I didn't know! And like, no, I was a big fan. They played our release show like years ago, and I remember playing like, you played Victoria, and I was just like, what the fuck is this song? So I've been a big fan of Catbath. And then when you posted about needing a bassist, my mom sent it to me. And she was like, Danielle, you need to get in there. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't want to put myself out there. And then Crystal messaged me being like, hi, please audition.
Yeah, it's really hard. Like we were talking, it's like to find somebody that has the chops to do not only playing bass really well, like professionally, really honestly, if you be honest about it, playing bass really well, and also singing while doing that. But not only that, but then understanding how to harmonize and do 3-part harmonies. There's just a lot that goes into that spot. And I'm like, I did not know anyone else out there that could have done that. And I was like, seriously, like, Danielle, you must be in our band. Please. So excited. That's why I told Travis, I'm like, it got to be Danielle.
Yeah, she did. Right off the bat.
And Travis said, absolutely not.
I was open to anything. Like, you know, like I don't know a lot of bass players. Most of the people I know are like, oh, I play guitar, man. And drummers gravitate towards me too, which is, I guess, kind of cool, considering I spent the first like 15, 16 years of my music career trying to find a drummer. To the point where I learned how to play myself. But yeah, I mean, I think Danielle was a good fit. And I know that like Bruised Violet, I was always a fan of Bruised Violet. And when I saw her playing in Tony Peachka, God, I don't know, that was a long time ago, but like saw her playing in Tony Peachka playing bass, it was like a mental note kind of like in my mind, you know? So.
Mental note, this bitch
professional? All right. I'm going to stop talking now. I feel like I'm digging myself into a hole.
No, I just like to make fun of my bandmates. It means I love them.
Oh, it's your love language.
Yeah, my love language is just making fun of everybody. Sorry, everyone.
It's kind of fun to hear from an outside how that works. Like you go to see someone and think, if anything ever happens, I'm just going to remember that tambourine player. If anything ever happens, I'm just going to remember that.
Well, and I don't, you know, like the thing, like Kristen was great. Like she's one of my favorite people on the planet. You know what I mean? And so the split for her was just, she had 2 kids and just didn't have time. So I completely understood, you know, you know what I mean? Like she came to me, it was the summer. It was like August, like, cause when Danielle, you joined the band in like November or something.
Yeah.
Right?
November is when I
of like 2019. So she came to me and was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to have time to do this. You know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, that sucks. So it was like kind of a moment where like, and Crystal and I had some pretty good conversations with this. And I think Gravy might've been cued in on them too, where we're just like, well, do we keep going as Catbath then? Or do we just like start something else from the ground up? And so like I talked to like Kristen about it and she's like, no, keep doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it would have hurt her worse to see us like break up and not be a band than continue with the legacy or whatever, you know. So I think it hurt Kristen too a little bit, just because she, you know, she's always been in bands and always played music, but when you have a couple of kids and you have a career at that point, like, you know, it's like pretty hard to balance that time, especially with 2 young toddlers. That's a lot of work.
Being as somebody who works with toddlers, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They can come scream. They can come scream on our album, though. That would be super cute.
Yeah.
Next album, all toddler screams.
Yes.
And disco beats.
Let me tell you, there's a market for that.
Yeah, we'll make child screamo.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have toddlers anymore, but I did it one time, and it, you know, when you have a definite taste in music and you have toddlers and you do not want to listen to toddler music, you find things that have a toddler tone to them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And kids recognize another kid's voice. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Just saying.
When I was talking to Kristen, I guess Kit, her eldest daughter, we played a bunch of shows with Kit while she was like, you know, in utero or whatever. And now I guess Kit can't stand the bass. she was cracking jokes about how, like, anytime she would hear anything with bass in it, she'd be like, I don't like that, mommy. I was like, whoops. She's since changed her mind on it, but, you know, like when she was really little, she's like, you know, when she's into the Wiggles or something. So
hell yeah.
Yes, I am. Yeah. I am familiar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Blues Clues.
I have 3 daughters, and their dad is from Ireland. And I remember one year on the St. Patrick's Day, one of them who did not want to go to the parade in the cold said, she's about 4, I hate Irish, Daddy. When I say he's Irish, I mean he's born in Galway, raised in Dublin. I mean,
nice.
But they grow out of that.
Yeah.
It's part of the natural.
Everything. Yeah.
Well, we do have a younger audience demographic, and I want to just say special thanks to Cuckoo Kangaroo for those shows that we played with them, because they gifted us a young, like, super cute audience, like, fans. And then we played this really cute like outdoor show at the Walker Art Center like a couple summers ago. And there's this like cute little peanut in this like oversized Catbath shirt, just like walks up to the stage like, Catbath is my favorite band. And I'm like, so ever since then, I'm like, let's think about our swear words, you guys. Like, okay, like how much do we really want to swear?
Yeah,
this
I consciously
album?
made more of an effort with this new record to cut some of the cussing out as
Yeah.
much as I could.
Think about our
I was
younger
in a band
audience.
that was teenagers that cursed all the time.
Yeah, pretty much every song, as I recall.
Yeah.
And there was only one ever Bruised Violet song without a curse. Just one. That was it. Everything else was like, fuck, shit, fuck. Like, just fucks all over.
I just had to remind myself that I was a big fan of like movies from the 80s and the 90s as a kid that like had a lot of cussing in them.
Well,
you know
I
mean?
knew that I like did well when I had a friend who was like, my mom won't let me listen to your music because she says it's like devil music. And I was like, yes!
Yeah. You go for the...
Yeah! I made it!
The parental advisory stickers like, buy me, this will be good.
Yeah, I have like a parental advisory sticker like tattooed on my like forehead.
Nice. Oh, the one question I knew I wanted to ask really was about you putting out a new album of music that you have not played for people, I'm assuming. I mean,
none of it has been played at a show.
To me, that sounds like, you know, walking the high wire without a net. How are you guys excited about that? Or
I'm stoked. I'm really
super
excited.
excited.
Well, because like I joined this band, I learned like the opening song on the album, and I was like, oh, this is great. And then Travis just kept on bringing in more and more songs, and I was like, fuck, all of these are really good. And then it got to the point where there were too many. I was just like, he's like, okay, we learned 2 songs as practice, want to learn another? And I was like, absolutely the fuck not. No, it was good. I was like gushing to like everybody who asked me. I'm like, it's like insane to be in like a band where like I just joined and I love all the songs. Like I feel like there's always like, oh, you know, whatever, but like it's, I don't know, it's really, really cool to be like, to have also this kind of secret, you know, where it's like, oh, I have an album sitting and waiting and you don't know what's on it. You've never heard any of it. So it's nice.
Yeah. I think it would be like more scary. Like, Anne, I get what you're saying. It's kind of like, you know, we have this established like sort of fan base and we've got a lot of like really great songs. And, you know, what do you do? And you just like come out there, people come to see your show and you don't play any songs that they know. It's like, that's always kind of a point of contention in the band, but we just like haven't really talked about it because there's no need to talk about it because we're not playing shows. But I guess like just to, just to like, I mean, underscore what Danielle is saying. It's like this new album is like, I think it's really turning it up a notch and like taking it to the next level. And I'm super, super confident that if you already like Catbath, you're going to love the new stuff.
I also feel like
I agree.
There's something kind of like the reverse of that is like if you follow, you know, you see a local band a bunch of times, you get to know their material, that by the time they put out the album, you're like, oh, this is it, it's like great. You're like, oh, I get to hear this recorded, but it doesn't feel like new as like a band where you didn't get to see them play those songs a bunch of times. So I'm excited because I've never been involved in a situation where we hadn't like been in a band where we didn't play it out a bunch first. So like when people hear it, they'll be hearing it for the first time. And I think that's really cool. Like people that like love the band and have seen it a bunch of times, they'll be like, oh, this is new, which that's exciting to me.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I was not in this band before this album. So basically I'm like the bassist and a fan. And as both, I approve.
I think
good. I think.
Oh, shut up.
No, like every song brings a little unique. Every song has a hook, you know, and I think that's what you need, right? I don't. It's hard for me to say like one way or the other. I think that like, I think the album's great, and I think that sort of confidence and love that we put into it will transfer over once people hear it. And I hope they're as excited about it as we are.
Otherwise that'd be super embarrassing.
Yeah, right. You get up on stage and after like 4 songs, people start walking out. Yeah. I've been in those bands. Awesome. I've been there.
Yeah.
I was in a noise band called Eye of the Great Protector. That was pretty entertaining. We would like just see how long people would stick around. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of noise in my time, and there's always you never knew when they were done.
Yep.
Okay, like
yep.
I don't know. And I loved it, but it was a lot of. Were they warming up, or was that the set?
That was it. Yeah.
Whatever's the Kitty Cat Club. That was one you're like, are they gonna go smoke now, or was that the set? Was that the what? Like.
Yeah, right.
Or they just
you're telling me you're coming out with an all noise album? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually going to be our noise album. It's just going to be the drums and the screams. That's it.
Well, I'm going into mix like next week, and I've decided I'm going to replace everything with digital beats and meow noises.
Oh.
Wasn't that what? No, maybe that wasn't.
Too far.
All 808. It's gonna be great.
That's the idea of doing it, and you'll never get an opportunity to do it again. You know what I mean? Like this is a natural.
Yeah.
You couldn't play for that long, and it's. And I do think, Gravy, to come up to your point, my youngest daughter used to come to shows with me all the time, and I can remember it was. I think it was the Cactus Blossoms. They're like, this one's up. This is a new song off the new album. Oh, yeah. They started. She looks at me. She says, well, I've heard this a load of times. It's not new.
Right.
Yeah.
Because your mama's a bad mama, honey, and you've seen them live. But you should almost have hidden cameras on the audience just to see. That would be a.
I'm actually, I'm kind of curious about that, like gauging the reaction of it. It's always interesting for me, like when you put a record out and you sort of see what people gravitate towards and like that maybe necessarily you didn't expect. I mean, not that like anything we've done is necessarily worse than anything else, but just like you'll just have that random person be like, yeah, I really like that song, you know, whatever it might be. And you're just like, oh, okay, well, there's that, you know, we found that guy. So it'll be interesting to see what people like, you know. I know that like anytime anybody talks about our first record, it's always like Colorado, you know, like
that is.
For me, it was like Casio. That was the like hit for me. And it's a good song. A lot of people like it, but like Colorado just took on a life of its own with everybody. And I was like, all right, you know, it's kind of cool to see what people like gravitates to. Like once you write it and put it out into the world, it has its own thing. Yeah.
And we're kind of, sorry.
I was just gonna say when I hear an album, the song that I love the first time through is probably not going to be the song that I love a year later.
Yeah,
it's not the one that I love because it takes me 3 times to love the right song.
Yeah. And sometimes I find the records I find the hardest to listen to at first, like as I listen to it more, become my favorite records. That happened to me with Surfer Rosa actually when I was a teenager. I'm like, why do people like this? You know what I mean? Like it's kind of harsh and it's not that melodic. And then after listening to it and understanding what they were going for kind of, and just something clicked and I'm like, no, I get it. This is brilliant. It's great. You know?
When I was in Tony, that was the only CD we had in the tour van. So we listened to Surfer Rosa over and over and over again. And it got to the point where I just said, if we listen to this again, I'm going to kill myself. But through the years, I feel the same way. It's like I used to have like a vendetta against the Pixies. I was like, I don't know, I love the Breeders, but I just have never gotten into the Pixies. And then everybody used to yell at me about it. And then I think within like the past few years, I was like, oh, actually the Pixies are a good band. So yeah, it is weird. The songs are like the bands that people hold on to, or like, you know, like the ones that they cling to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like my most popular song is one that I wrote when I was 17 years old. And I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yeah. It's such a weird, yeah. And then people will come up and be like, oh, so what are you talking? So like this song is about this, like, you know, and like they're sort of explaining how it means to them and trying to gauge like what it is you're actually trying to say in it. And I'm just like, no, whatever you said, man, that's great. That's that's what it means. You know, like, I don't know, like not to be archaic, but a lot of that stuff. And I sort of took that a lot from like 90s music in general, like just sort of like painting pictures with lyrics more than actually having like cohesive like thoughts through it. The counterpoint to that being this record, which I think sort of tells a story from start to finish loosely, because I'll never be like a full, like, I can't be like the Black Flag where I'm just like, and I hate everything, God sucks, or whatever, you know, like just as direct as possible, you know what I mean? Like I respect that. I respect Henry Rollins. I respect, you know, anybody that can like sort of just straight up like say things directly and tell a story, but that's not really my thing. Like I'll get bored and just start telling jokes or something in my words, or I'll write about Home Alone or something.
The word bunghole is actually harmonized on the new album, but it's in a really fun way. Yeah, after the bunghole harmony, there's like some really cute, like, oh wow, you know. So
where
it's
do
like,
you go from
you know,
there?
we can like joke around too. We have to be so serious all the time.
I have to go back to when you guys get to perform the new album. I am so envious, and I hope we get to talk to you to actually see your audience freak out. You know what I mean? Just to be like, I'm at a show and I get to see this beautiful album because you guys are all so excited too that it's just gonna blow the roof off. I can't imagine. Everybody's gonna be like a cry fest or something.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be really interesting.
What?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I wish we could be back there to see it, just because I think it would be such an amazing experience to.
It's good for me because I'm nervous
for you guys.
Fuck to start to play a gig with these guys.
Well, me too.
We're in a unique
Especially
spot.
since our first show back is going to be so much pressure on the, I don't know.
And we haven't really, I was going to say we haven't really talked about it yet, but like, for all we know at this point, because we haven't really planned out the album, like our first show back could even be the release, depending on,
that's true.
When we decide to do that. So that'd be a very heavy experience. I feel like first show back and here's a new album.
Yeah. I would go for like
a
soft open, just like a soft open, like just like a mid venue, just like on a Wednesday
listening party.
Don't tell anybody. Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
Everybody is like so sick of being isolated that Wednesdays. It's like the '80s where like even Wednesdays have a built-in audience. Yeah. I kind of wonder about that. Like, I mean, maybe it'll never go back to the way it was like in the '80s and the '90s because we have the internet and. Lots of distractions with entertainment values. But I kind of feel like with the pandemic, like the venues, unfortunately, that or fortunately, the ones that survived, I think might actually see sort of a renaissance, at least for a while, of people coming back out. Because people are just gonna be like, you know what, we don't have to spend any more time and stuck inside the house, It's like you kind of see that now when like you go to like a park, like state parks or something, like there's like hundreds more people than there ever were before the pandemic. Yeah, like to the point where I'm even like sometimes like because I generally like will go out like on weekends or whatever and like sort of enjoy nature, but like there have been times where I pulled up to like certain parks and I'm just like and nope because there's just so many people there that I'm just like I don't know, like this seems kind of sketchy. I'm sure it's fine.
Well, I walked to the falls, Minnehaha Falls. What other falls would I walk to? All the time, and I'll forget when it's a weekend because I'm self-employed. I forget when it's a weekend, and you're like,
yeah.
Get out of my falls, people. You're never here on a Tuesday.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I think you will see it's. And also, I was someone who went to go see live music probably 6 nights a week, and I started in the '80s. So,
nice.
Yeah. But I always have been. But I think it will. It'll. At least for a while. I think there will certainly be whether people will continue to do that. Who knows? But I think for a while it will be.
It'll be like Pokemon Go.
That's terrifying. That's terrifying to think about.
Summer of insanity and then I'm like crickets.
No, it'll be good. And I think a soft, you don't want your wedding date and the due date to be on the same day.
No.
A soft.
Great point, Anne. Thank you for backing me on this.
I'm just,
it'll be rehearsal.
It'll be no. Obviously, you just put you were just in the studio, presumably all together. You've said all together, but have you been playing together in the same room all year?
For the most part, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I knew you said you were in each other's boat, but that doesn't always mean,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because some people that I know have been doing like sort of the remote thing, and like passing like recordings back and forth over the internet and sort of working on it that way, which is intriguing to me. Someday we should try that. I don't know if I'm tech savvy enough to make that work.
So we really we like committed to each other really early on to like be responsible bubble mates with the mutual like understanding that we really all just wanted to be able to have the ability to play music throughout this hard time. It was my personal line in the sand. It's like that point of I work from home, I don't do anything, I go to Target every 3 weeks. I need music in my life and I'm willing to, be a responsible bubble mate. Like we distance in our practice space and wear masks. And it's like, you just do what you do in a reasonable, and you're just like reasonable and responsible about it. And we're just very like open with each other and making sure that we're being as safe, as responsible as we can. And then just really, creating that bubble. And I know that's very common thing. Like a lot of people create bubbles and have, moved in with other couples and just all sorts of different things going on in the world. So yeah, that's kind of what we are to each other, just being able to have the ability to maintain some sort of human connection, and also like having our music has been a really amazing gift to like have. I mean, I feel so lucky to be able to have maintained that ability to have my music in this time. So
that's a commitment on everyone's part. I mean, that's a commitment to each other. Yeah. That's a commitment to the music. Yeah. I mean, it's really, really starting to hammer the fact that this music is going to be to a different, you know, already in your head, it's in a different place if you're making that kind of commitment.
Yeah, they're the only people I see. Yeah. Literally the only people besides my parents.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, I got coworkers, I guess, because I'm unfortunately can't work from home. But
yeah, I mean, same. I don't.
You know, we do the whole mask thing at work and the social distancing and hand sanitizer.
Yeah. But besides my work, which I don't count,
it's a strange thing.
It's just these guys.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, not even my other bands. Like I saw my bandmate a few
the only
days ago,
people
and I just like dropped off a package at her door and then ran away.
Friend.
It's kind of a decision that we all make. I said, you know, so long as the people at Kowalski's are healthy, I'm probably, you know, that's who I see.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's about it. I'm like, that's they get sick, I'm sick, but that is a huge. I mean, you just make me more and more excited to hear the new album. I mean,
yeah.
I think just like to that point, it's like this is like what is going on in the world and what is going on with just like each individual human being, and then it's like you kind of interject the music and the album, and just that, like, I feel like we're forging like a really extra special bond through all of this that's like also next level, you know, which is maybe why the music feels like it is a little bit more next level, because like our like bond and like fellowship throughout the last year with each other has really, like, I feel like transcended within like our relationships. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like when you go through something with someone, it's like they understand what it's like, but no one else outside that bubble really understands what it's like, you know? So.
Yeah, we were saying as we recorded, it was like we all became like one mind almost, just because we were, you know, so isolated from the outside world, which I think brought like a you know, something special for sure.
Yeah. The realization on Monday of having to go back to work, being like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, I never want to see them again. And then like on Monday, I was like, wow, I miss my bandmates.
Stockholm syndrome, Danielle.
Yeah, I know. I was like, get them away from me. And now I'm like, actually.
Yeah, the whole pandemic thing has just been a strange, like there are two things I think that really like sort of like I homed in on that, like sort of connected the high strangeness we live in. And the first one was like, I went into Target to get like, I don't know, a frozen pizza or something. And like, this is April, maybe like just as the pandemic was starting to sort of shut everything down. And I remember like going in and there were 3 people in the aisle and one lady coughed. And the 2 other people in the aisle, like, just shot her this look. Like, I thought they were going to throw down in the middle of the aisle. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, it's like dawned on me. I'm like, whoa, this is a whole other level of existence. You know, like, I've never seen anything like this before. What do I do? And it ended up being fine. And they just kind of went their separate ways. And then, like, right as the election was sort of like ramping up, like right before, like, I think the day before or something, I went to visit with my parents who live on the east side of St. Paul, and like they have cable TV, and I was watching like MSNBC or something, and everybody was wearing masks on it. And it was like watching these ridiculous talking heads with masks on, just being like, whoa, 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 and then, you know, saying whatever. It was just like, it was pretty I mean, like darkly entertaining, like darkly humorous, because it's like, and then some of them wouldn't even wear it, and I'm just like, well, what's the angle here? But yeah, like
it's
just
sort of like this like surreal. It's like this surreal, absurdist moment where you're like, absurd. Am I in a novel or a movie, or is this like really happening? You know, and you have that realization, like this is normal life right now.
It was right.
Yeah, no, literally, we got you know those like posts or like cards they send you that are like during the election of like, this is why you should vote for this person. I went through my mail and I saw the Biden one, and it's like Biden, Kamala Harris, his wife, and like I think her husband standing together in front of the American flag, like arms up with masks on. And I was like, this is the most dystopian shit I've ever seen. And then I hung it up. It's still hanging up in my house. Like, I'm not like, you know, yay Biden, but I'm like, this is fucking insane. Like,
hang on to that, Danielle, because in 20 years that'll probably be worth something.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's just hanging out on top of my like heater.
Yeah, I think about it a lot. Like, I mean, what is the future? I think it'll be really interesting to see where it goes, you know? Like in 10 years, are we going to look back? How are we going to view 2020? I mean, I already know we're going to look back.
Are we going to have like 2020 dance parties and like everyone shows up in like masks and like
silent disco?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, burning of the masks. Burn.
Yeah, like the whole roaring 20s after like 1919 or whatever, you know? Hopefully it doesn't end the way the 20s did.
It's like, wow, let's,
I'd like to think we've learned a little something in 100 years, right? But
we'll see. But you're right. Well, and your album will be sort of I mean, that is the thing. One way or another, it will be a reflection of the last year, because as you said, your mind meld has happened during all of this.
Yep.
And probably hugely, or at least because of it, to that extent. You know, there'd be some of it, but which is one of the few silver linings of it.
Yeah. I mean, you're right on that. Like so the one thing I will say that I was thankful for when it comes to, and I try to be, you know, as gracious about things as I possibly can, considering the pandemic has mostly been crap.
Yeah.
But like the fact that it's sort of everybody sort of slowed down and had the ability to sort of introspect again. You know what I mean? Like, and just sort of like look in and maybe like think and pause a little bit. We don't see it a lot on the media because the media likes to take the extreme sides and blow that up. But like a lot of people that I've talked to are just like, I was surprised at how many people were thankful for sort of like the pause a little bit in their lives. Because everything is such a rush and everything is go, 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 go all the time in modern life, that like sort of taking it back the way we had, especially like through the summer, it was just like, oh, well, now you sort of just cherish, you know, your relationships that you have and the stuff that you can kind of, the things you have like control over more than you did before, and you appreciate it a little more. And I mean, that's kind of why I think it sort of reflected back in on all the music that I was writing, definitely throughout 2020 and parts of 2019 as well. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the introspection is kind of good. Like that pause, that like breath will probably do us some good, even though do have some dystopian shit going on.
Yeah, I've been talking about that forever. I'm like, I used to work 2 jobs a day. Like I worked doubles every day. And I was just like, I didn't have the time to sit down and think about anything because I'm like, I'm too busy. And then this happened. And I feel like it was gave me the time to be able to like think about my life and think about like what I wanted to change, what I was happy with, or like stuff like that. And it was good. You know, I feel like, of course, there are the days where you're just like, I hate everything. I want this to be gone. But overall, you know, yeah, I mean, like, we were on an album. We have a whole album, a 15-song album. That is nuts. Like, I never in my life did everything that would happen. So, exciting things come out of stupid things.
I just hope that, like, from the pandemic standpoint, that we can all just sort of take that, like, sort of, this is probably sacrilege, but I'm hoping that, like, you know, after the pandemic ends, there are still as many people at state parks. It's good for people.
I was thinking when you said that, I said, you know, I'm a big big walker. I spent a lot of time at Winnetonka, down Fort Snelling, and then the falls. And I think, people will have a greater appreciation. And as much as I like to have the park all to myself, I need for all the taxpayers to love the park.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It makes us healthier, and it does. I mean, there's just a whole level of whole level of community for it. So
yeah, for sure.
It gives you guys time to make an album. It's given us time to listen to music, to talk to musicians, which was, our deal was that we had a radio show on WMCN on McAllister College campus. That was closed, a week before everything else was closed. And it will be closed for a week after everything else is, which is, on the one hand, it was sad, but on the other hand, we would often interview people, but not for an hour. So it's been great to get to know people and to learn more about, different bands, different projects that are going on. So that's been,
Well, I hope that we see you, Ann and Heather, at our show, whether it is the soft open and or the album release.
Soft open.
That would be super sweet. I would love to just see you in person and hand you a free button or sticker or something like that, just.
Well, and I was saying before we went live, you guys, I'm sure that because you guys played one of the birthday suit blind shake blowouts.
Yeah, that
probably
was so fun.
Right. Doesn't it happen right about now?
Yeah. I would go to that every year. I always love that. Yeah, I look forward to that.
I think I remember seeing you there. And did you guys play with Shoni Knife one time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, yeah, you
I'm like, oh man.
That was a trip.
Show.
Huh? Danielle, you were saying something I didn't hear.
Oh, I just said it was them and Kitten Forever. And I was like, fuck, because I was working. So, yeah, I was really glad that I couldn't go to that.
Yes, we will definitely be seeing you again. Yes.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna ask you a businessly logistic question. Tell folks who are listening where they can find you online or in person if you want to give out your online.
I live in Midway.
Yeah. Oh.
My address is my social. No.
Yeah,
I don't know. Gravy, do you want to take this question?
Where people can listen to Catbath?
I feel like you know about the internet more than anyone in the
This is funny though. I'm trying to remember if it's just Catbath at bandcamp.com. Shoot,
I should. Catbath music?
If you search for Catbath,
I was just gonna say search for Catbath.
At Bandcamp, and then we have a YouTube channel where you can find some. I know all of Table Scraps is up there too for streaming, but Bandcamp is a great way to get the music directly from us, and then also it's available on iTunes and Spotify for streaming too.
We are on Facebook, and are we on, what's the other thing?
We're on Instagram. I'm the only one that's really post. Gravy will post on that occasionally. But.
There's
you can buy physical media on Bandcamp. I do want to just say that we have these pink vinyl records that we put a lot of love into, and there's lyric sheets, which I made Travis do because he's such a great lyricist. And that's a really great way to support us and have something, like a vinyl record. I know a lot of people, you're either into it or you're not, right? But if that's something that you like, we've got stickers and buttons and shirts and CDs and all sorts of fun, cool stuff on our Bandcamp page. That's really great because that can, support us. And
All right. That's good. And I suspect if they follow you on social channels and on Bandcamp, they will learn when the new album's coming out. Because it's still in the mix. It's still being cooked.
Yeah, we don't even know when it's coming out.
But it's in the oven.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's coming. Right. And in the meantime, Table Scraps. It's Table Scraps. And if you haven't seen Woozy, I think people should check that one out.
Watch Woozy.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been great.
It's nice talking with you.